starting now. And of course, you can see the lineup of guest panelists that we have today, and you know that they are not small. All right, so I'm just going to start right now. I'll start with introducing our guest panelists, then we'll dive right into the panel session proper. I can see that they are all here. I Blessing, I Omodola, I Fola Shade. Thank you so much for accepting this invitation. We are super, super grateful. And the community is really pumped to learn from you because they know that you're going to give us gems, nothing short of value, right? So first, I'm going to be introducing Omolola. Omolola Dada is the founder of Awani Digitals, which is a marketing agency that is focused on building global brands and people. She has been, her expertise has spanned for about 6 years. She has helped local and international brands to stay ahead in their industries. And in addition to releasing several resources for entrepreneurs, she has helped 50 plus people kickstart a career in social media marketing. Yeah, so next person I'll be introducing is Blessing Abeng. Blessing Abeng is a co-founder at Ingressive for Good. She's a renowned branding and communications director, and she has helped several top brands. And the part that interests me the most is that she's a first 30 under 30 woman. Yay! So I'm going to be introducing Fola Shade as well. Fola Shade is a content creator. She's an SEO content strategist with the aim of helping startups increase their reach and revenue through content strategy. You know, when I checked Fola Shade's on Instagram, like she has been consistently creating content. I'm like, what manner of consistency is this? This is someone that we actually need to like bring on board to hear from, to learn from. And I'm glad that she accepted our invitation. So yeah, that's an incredible profile of our guest panelists. And today they'll be sharing a lot of gems about how you can build your personal brand. So yeah. We're going straight into the panel session. And the first person I would be asking a question is Omolola. Hi, Omolola. Please say hi before I ask the question. So I want to be sure that
Hi, Dolapo. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yes, we can. Thank you. So, Omolola, I'm aware that you have your personal brand and you're also actively running your business brand. By the way, congratulations on your new marketing agency.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so I want you to share why you decided to have another page for your business. I mean, like your personal brand, like a personal page on Instagram and on LinkedIn is okay, is standardized, like, right? So why did you decide to have another page for your business? Is that a best practice? Sorry, give me a minute. All right. So is that like a best practice? And also, how can online positioning impact your ability to attract jobs and clients? Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for the opportunity. So, as regards personal branding, I believe that. So, to start with, my page has always been like I created. If you notice, my page is just like my name, like Kinito Molola, right? So, but when I started, I knew that I did not just want that page to just be me posting my pretty pictures, right? So, and then I just started like putting out stuff, putting out tips, sharing tips for business owners, sharing tips for people that wanted to start a career in marketing. And that's why I recently said in a post I made like yesterday that I did not start sharing tips and all of those things until I had about 2 years of experience in the field. I know that, okay, I think I know something, so I can start sharing my thoughts on marketing in this field. So, and then I started doing that. So because of that, because I started doing that, a lot of people began to see me as someone they could reach out to say, oh, hello, we need you to work with us. We need you to work with our brand. Hey, we like what you do, blah, 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 blah. And then it continued like that. I started training social media managers like that. And then it continued. So now up to the point of starting Awani. So it grew up to that point where I could no longer handle it by myself again, right? Like there was a lot of demand. I had too many clients to handle. And even though I had already like been, before I even started Awani, I would say I had like a team already, right? I had like people working with me. But then I was like, okay, I no longer want to be that person that just shares tips, right? For people. So I want to be this person that I also get to share stuff about my personal life. So when you say personal branding, right, it is you, right? Personal branding is you. It's what makes you you, basically. So that was I was like, okay, I think I want my page to just be on its own, where I can share a day in my life. I can share tips. I can share get ready with me. Like I can really just share. I can come today and share my thoughts on random topics, right? So while still building Awani, right? And also what I realize is that if you like have a strong personal brand, it can help you position your business brand rightly, right? So starting Awani, I did not even like need to do so much. Everybody was like, oh, is this girl that owns this brand and the likes. So that was it. I started Awani because I wanted to like focus on building my personal brand and not just sharing tips in marketing. I wanted to like share everything about myself, including career, my lifestyle, and everything, right? Which is what personal branding really entails. Personal branding is not just sharing stuff about that niche, right? It's you sharing everything because every other person is posting tips, to be honest. So what makes you stand out? What makes you you? Right. And then I decided to launch Awani because I have like bigger dreams, I have like bigger goals, and I know that I could no longer like keep it under my personal brand. So yeah. Your second question, you said, sorry, I can't remember how online.
Again, how can online positioning impact your ability to attract jobs and clients?
Okay. So like I said, if you're starting out, like starting a career in marketing, I said it yesterday that the first thing, a lot of people feel like they are under pressure to start sharing tips so that people can see them as a thought leader in that industry, and it's not always so because people can actually see through whatever you do. People know that, oh, this person is good. People know that, oh, this person does not really know what they are doing. So I will say, to position yourself properly online, you should give it time. There should be no pressure for you to like maybe say you want to create a page and you want to start sharing tips for business owners or social media managers. There is the place of learning, there is the place of practicing. So that was what I did. I interned in a digital marketing firm during my service here in Abuja for 1 year plus. I took on volunteering roles. I worked with some of my friends for free. And it was until I knew that, okay, I think I know this thing. That was when I started sharing my thoughts about it in the industry, right? And when I started sharing, like, it just felt like, oh, everybody just saw that, oh, this girl knows what she's doing, right? So people started sending me messages, oh, hello, we want to work with you, this. And to be very honest, like after my NYC, I did not like have to like, I didn't look for a job, I didn't do anything. So after my NYC was when I would say that I started like posting stuff that could help people build their brands on social media, basically. So that's what I would say. That's how online positioning can help you. So you first have to put to practice what you've learned. And I also said that putting to practice what you've learned, like I said, you can intern in an agency, you can volunteer to work with people, you can even start a social media page, but not necessarily sharing tips in marketing because you really don't know what to talk about yet because you are still learning and you want to practice. For example, I said, oh, you can even create a page around anything that you like. If I like to cook, I can start the kitchen something on Instagram just because I want to use it to practice. Some people start blogs, all these blog pages. Some people just use their personal pages and post their pretty pictures and videos, right? Some people reach out to friends and say, oh, hello, I want to practice with your page for like 2 months. I want to put to practice what I've learned. Can I work with your brand? And the like. Some people shoot their shot at brands, right? So that's how to like build yourself up to now later position yourself for online jobs, right? Because nobody will want to pay you to practice on their page, right? So you need to be sure that you have a level of knowledge to an extent before you can then say, okay, let me now start positioning myself this way, that way, right? So yeah, basically, that's it.
Wow, amazing, amazing. Thank you so much for sharing those insightful tips. Very, very insightful. I'm going to be asking Blessing my next question. Hi, Blessing. I want to ask, what are the key elements of a successful personal brand? And how can you leverage your personal brand to advance your career and achieve your goals?
Thank you, Dalakba. So I think that the first step with figuring out what your personal brand is even understanding what a brand is, because first, branding itself is just the process, right? Where you would take yourself from point A to point B, to a journey from where you are now to where you want to be, or from who you're known for, or what you're known for now to what you want to be known for. So it's a consistent journey. And once you achieve that one, you'd have a new goal and a new dream and a new thing that you also want. So understanding that your brand is a living thing and it's going to continue to evolve, it would breathe, it would move, it would, you know, evolve. Yeah, exactly. Evolve is the word. Is really important, so that way you're not stuck on doing the same things over and over and over and over again until you die. That's not the plan. So the brand is not a logo, it's not the font, it's not the name, it's not all those things. It's just all of those things coming together to work towards a together, actually, just to work together. I like to always give the example that if I had asked someone to describe me and they were looking for me and they needed to describe me, they would not just describe me as a married woman or the work that I do. Or like, it's not just one thing. If you're looking for me on the street, you can't just use one thing to say, well, I'm looking for blessing, because I'm not the only blessing in the world, right? So, but calling all the different things that I am, that I have, that are visually obvious, that I encompass, or the things that I exhibit intrinsically or externally, all of those things together come together to make me the unique individual. And so for me to really be a brand, it's very important to first be very self-aware, especially like with personal branding. You need to know who you are and what it is that you want for yourself. You need to recognize and accept where you are right now and where it is that you're going to. What are your shortcomings? What are your strengths? What are the areas that require improvement? What are the things that you do off the bat and you don't think about it? What are the things that you do and everybody wants you to be the ones to do it for them? What are the things that you how do you like to be? What is your personality? All those things are just, you need to sit with yourself and ask yourself questions. What are the things that you're comfortable sharing online? What are the things you're very uncomfortable sharing online and you never want to share those things? Just sit with yourself, ask yourself honest questions, and write down the things that you're figuring out about yourself. Ask yourself, if I was to describe myself in 5 adjectives, what adjectives would those be? If I asked my 5 best friends to describe me with 5 adjectives, what 5 adjectives would those be? What things do I disagree with? What things do I agree with? If you don't know what your personality is, you could do 16 personalities on net, take the test, and see what it says. It's really important to understand that not everything that the personality test will tell you is right, but at least it will give you words to describe who it is that you are and who it is that you're not. Now, being an introvert doesn't stop you or limit you from sharing. It just gives you a more unique perspective, or it gives you a different perspective, actually, not necessarily more unique, but just a different perspective of how it is that you share, what it is that you're passionate about, what it is that that you are empathetic about. Those are the things that you begin to see and find out about yourself. So as you pay attention to all of those things, number one element is self-awareness. Number two would be, so first understand yourself, right? So know yourself first, so self-awareness. Number two would be know the value that it is that you offer. Right now, you're learning a marketing skill. You might end up becoming a social media manager for some digital marketer, some growth market. You're going to be, there's so many job opportunities that are potentially possible within this sphere. However, that's not the only value that you would offer. There are other things that your human skills would do for you. So maybe you might be great at speaking, you might be great at making people feel comfortable, you might be great at explaining things, and just other things that you're really, really good at. So you could ask yourself, what is the value that I offer to the people that I want to serve, or to the people that I want to provide my skill as a service to? Number three is those people, know your target audience. You can't create for everybody, and you're never going to be the best for everybody. So you have to figure out who are the people that I am going to be the best for, and who are the people that I want to show up for. Even if I'm working in a company, what kind of clients or what kind of employers do I want? What kind of people do I want to work with? Those kind of things. You need to ask yourself those questions and figure out how your your current knowledge of yourself ties to that. How can you know the things that you know about yourself to add the value that you say you want to add to this type of people? What kind of people do you want to add that value to? Do I know their problem? Do I know the solution that I want to give them? Once you figure those things out, the next thing you have to now figure out is, how do I communicate this value? What platforms work for me based on my knowledge of self to communicate this value? And you could use social media, you could do this in real life, you could do it offline, you could do all self, and just pick your platforms. You don't have to be on every social media platform, but whichever one you choose to be on, show up as yourself, show up as your full self. You don't have to be an expert. You don't have to come on social media as an expert. You can just share what it is that you know, the way that you know how to, and add value to people. You can share your questions, you can share your process, you can share your learnings. You can even share that you're taking this, you're on this learning thing right now with I and you know, the other speakers, Falashade. It's so easy. Like, you don't have to and Kinito Omolola. So you don't have to what's it called? You don't have to what's it called? You don't have to lie. And that's my number one. Like, if you don't remember anything I'm going to say, remember that you don't have to fake it to make it in terms of your personal brand. You just have to grow into it. You just have to know what your North Star is and how it is you want to get there, and work every day to bring you closer to that dream. Finally, pay attention to the people that you collaborate with. Don't collaborate with everybody. Pick the people that you feel like your values align, people that you believe in, and collaborate with them. Yeah. So I think that's the first part of the question. Dolapo, what's the second question so I can know how to answer it?
All
I was able
right.
to answer the
I
question.
Yeah, you did. How can you leverage your brand to advance your career and achieve your goals?
Oh, okay. So the thing about your brand is that you're not. It's not only for you. It's also for the people that you're adding value to, and the people that you're trying to serve, right? And so when it is that you figure out what it is that you want to do, or the value that it is that you want to add, and you start building your brand, or because whether or not you like it, you already have a brand, right? The problem is, do you like what you have? Do you like where your brand is? When you Google yourself, do you like what you see? Do you think it could be better? So that process of you getting to where you want to be, that's a big part of what branding is. So in this whole journey, one way that you can position yourself is to first really ask the questions. Yes, you know the problems that it is that your target audience are facing. You could ask them to get better context, so you know how to directly support them. You could also be very you could also find people. So now that you're building this skill, you don't have to do it alone. Be part of communities that can help you and make yourself visible in those communities. Add value, answer people's questions, be helpful. It's not okay to only do the work. It's not okay to only have the skill. You need to show your work and show your skill, which is why communicate your value was such an important part. Because if people don't know that you're good at something, it means you're not necessarily memorable for them. And so you're going to be rooms people are going to be in, and they're like, oh, I need a social media person. Oh, I need a marketer. Will they think about you? Because I was in a room just today, and 4 people were drafting a list of people who are going to speak at a global event. And they were just calling names. And then when one person calls a name, the other person would say, are you sure? Do you think this person is on that? And so at the end of the day, the things that you are praying for is on the lips of somebody else. And the question now becomes, in those moments where they ask about people like you, will they remember you? Would your name pop up in their minds? And that's why it's important to be visible. So don't only do the work, try to show the work, and share your journey. Yeah, I think that's it.
Amazing. That's a whole masterclass. Thank you so much for sharing, Blessing. Thank you so much. I'm going to be asking Folashade my next question. Folashade, how can marketers measure the impact of their personal branding efforts? And what metrics can they use to track their success?
Wow, Dolapo, you left the most difficult question for me.
No, no,
No,
actually.
I'm just kidding. Okay,
All right.
so I really like what Blessing said, and I was just going to like touch on that about not just sharing once you have achieved in that sense, but sharing your journey as well, sharing your learnings, even if it's questions that you have, even if like you took a course or you attended this session, talk about it, because the danger with waiting until you have achieved to speak about things is that it will look like you just arrived overnight, and you would lose the opportunity to to connect with people who are also like trying to figure it out, right? So I just wanted to like touch on that, to say that, because to say that don't wait until you're ready or until you know everything. And this doesn't even mean that you should lie or say things you don't know. Just be very genuine about your journey, be very genuine about your struggles. I just wanted to touch on that because that's like really important. Yeah, so how do you measure? Okay, for me, it depends on what goal you're trying to achieve. So let me give you an example. A couple of days, not a couple of days, maybe a couple of weeks ago, I put out a feeler. I said, okay, I was talking about how brands can, create content strategy, because that's what I do. I help tech startups, create content strategy that suits, their target audience. And then I put that out and I said, oh, if you need help with your content strategy, I put out like a link for people to book a free content strategy session with me. And you can trust Nigerians, I got like a lot of bookings, and I realized that the people that booked were not the people I was targeting, right? So I was trying to target tech startup founders, but the people that booked were not that. Let me just put it in that category. Of course, I still like attended to them, but it just made me realize that if you want a goal, you need to first of all define, who you're trying to talk to, what you're trying to achieve. Then before you get, so the first step to even tracking is to say, what are you trying to achieve with your personal branding? So another example, my Instagram page, I used to talk a lot about dating intelligently, because it's a topic that is like so vital, so important to me. I hate to see young women date idiots in that sense. Sorry for my language. And like I was always putting out content, and I found that because of that, I got invited to a lot of love and dating, spaces and like events, to talk about that. And like Blessing said, your branding is dynamic, right? You would evolve. You're human and you would evolve. Then I found out that okay, I want to start talking about, because I realized I was doing a lot of like talking about the relationships. I wasn't talking so much about my work, like in the tech space. Only people who followed me on Twitter knew that. So I said, okay, I want to start talking about my work, my content creation, my work as an influencer, right? And then I moved. And how did I know that was successful? People now started reaching out to me to talk about, my work as a content strategist, to talk about how I transitioned from veterinary medicine, to content strategy in tech, right? So that's one good way to know. But before you even start measuring, you need to define what's your goal. What do you want to be known as? Why do you want to be known as? Who do you want to buy from you, right? Because another goal of like the whole personal brand is so that you can choose who you want to work for, right? And so that you don't have to be stuck in a bad place. Do you understand? And that's another way to measure where you're working currently, or in the next 2 years, whoever it is that you want to partner with. Can you, if the place gets toxic, can you leave and you are sure that in like a month you get another job? Do you understand? Can you call your own shots? Can you define what work means to you? And of course, when you're just starting out, you really can't do that. Do you get, like, when you're just starting out? But the goal is that you're building something, you're building a brand, such that if any organization gets toxic or you're just no longer satisfied working there, you can work without being afraid. So I've said number one, how you can measure is what people reach out to you for, right? And then the caliber of people that reach out to you too, because the truth is that it is people who you talk to that would reach out to you if people feel like your messaging connects with them, right? So the type of people that are reaching out to you. So for example, maybe you're a social media manager and your goal is to work with non-for-profit organizations, maybe like the UN, like WFP, right? And it's small business owners that are reaching out to you. Then you know that there's something wrong with your messaging, right? And you need to fix that. And then number three, the other way to know is how confident are you to choose where you want to work with. I like to define personal branding as, the process that takes you to a place where you can do work you love with people that you enjoy working with, because now you have a brand. Now you can call their bluff. I hope I answered your question, Dolapo.
Yes, perfectly. You did. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much. That was really insightful, and really solidifies what Blessing said about the fact that you're not the only one in your, like, your personal brand is not for only you. It's for people that you are actually reaching out to as well. Thank you so much. I'm going to ask Blessing my next question. Blessing, what are common mistakes that people make when trying to build their personal brand, and how can we avoid them?
Okay, I think the most popular one is that people lie. So they create false representations of themselves. Like they think that people want to see them a certain way, right? So for example, they think, oh, I need to be posing in front of private jets. I need to snap in front of this car that is not my own and make it look like this is where my life is at now. Like you just under so much pressure to give a false impression of yourself. That's not gonna help you, because if people think that you have blown and in your real heart, you know you have not blown, you just stopped opportunities for coming from coming for you. So as opposed to pretending, embrace where you are now and do what you can at that time to grow, right? And one of my favorite references is Emanuela of Macangel Comedy. I don't know if you guys know her, but when they first started, their production used to not be so great, but they started and then they used what they had. They showed us the reality of things the way it exactly was, and that created an opportunity because they were now able to make things better. We could watch their growth story, and guess what? Progress stories are better than fake it stories. When we see your progress, we're like, oh, I remember last year this is where they were, and now see where they are. A good example is Salem King. You can go back to his throwback images or videos from 2 years ago, and you could be like, oh my god, this guy has grown. And it's so much more of a better story than trying to fake it, because we now don't really know who you are. Just be as authentic as possible. Number two challenge that I see a lot of people, or mistake that I see a lot of people make, is that they focus on things that they don't have. And we all don't have something. You can say, oh, I'm waiting creating content. I'm waiting for a better background to start creating content. I'm waiting. We're just always focusing on things that we don't have. But something that I actually learned from this Ingressive for Good community is we find the opportunities and we ask ourselves, what is it that we have, and how can we leverage what we have to get us to where we want to be. So for example, let's say you don't have lights. As opposed to focusing on the fact that your transformer has blown and you don't have lights for 1 month, maybe every 12 o'clock you would go to a cyber cafe, or you go and visit a friend, or you will go to your auntie's place and stay for 1 week because you need to create XYZ. Maybe you don't have a laptop, you have a friend who has a laptop. You can borrow the friend's laptop, or you can make a friend here and have a peer community member here that you can now use to what's it called, add value to yourself, or to use the laptop to improve you to get to the next phase that you want to be in. So yeah, like, just don't focus on what it is that you don't have. Instead, ask yourself, what is it that I have that I can use now, today, to get me to the place I need to be. And then the third thing is consistency. Consistency is really, really hard. But one thing I always say is approach consistency from the POV of brushing your teeth, which is that we all brush our teeth here every day, right? We do. And even when you forget, let's say you forgot by mistake, after forgetting, you don't wake up the next morning after that and be like, I'll never brush my teeth again because I'm so embarrassed that I brushed my teeth. I forgot a day to brush my teeth. You wouldn't do that. Instead, you brush harder the next day. So if you miss a day in creating, if you don't do it and you forget, or something happens, you can always catch up. You can always catch up, and make the best of it.
Yeah, thank you so much, Blessing. Yeah, I want to ask a follow-up question. Like you said, like consistency in posting and all of those things. I know for marketers, they are like, they want to post, that they should actually put themselves out there post. So I want to ask, like, what role does storytelling play in building a strong personal brand? Hi, Blessing.
Sorry, I missed it. What did you say?
Okay, I said, what role does storytelling play in building a strong personal brand? like how can marketers infuse storytelling into what they do to show that they have a personal brand, a strong one?
Well, I think that
I'd listen. Um, I think she's having network issue, or
hello.
I'd listen. We can hear you. Oh, has to be network. Mm. Or can anyone else hear me? Maybe it's mine. Let me know if you can hear me, please.
We can hear you.
Okay. All right.
We
Thank
can hear
you.
you.
All right. Thank you. I think blessings should kind of leave and come back again and join back. But while we wait for, I think she left already. Okay, while we wait for her to come back, I'm just going to circle back to Omolola. Omolola, I want to ask, like, what platforms do you think are most effective for? I think it was for Lashade that mentioned that you notice the platform that works for you, or the one that you get comfortable with. So I want to ask, like, for marketers especially, is there any
Oh,
platform that works best for them?
okay. So the thing is, number one, I would say, who do you want to speak to? Like, this is basically for every other person. So, like, who are you trying to target? What message are you trying to communicate? Right? Because, now we have like marketing for different generations. We have marketing for Gen Z, baby boomers, and the likes. Right? So, if I am trying to talk more to the Gen Z audience, then I know that I should be on Instagram and TikTok, right? If I want to, if I'm targeting like older people, then I know that, I should probably be on Facebook. And if I know that, for example, now in marketing, you can decide to like be a freelancer, or decide to go the 9 to 5 route, right? Say, okay, I want to like work in a company and all of that, right? So if you are the type that wants to like work in a company and all of that, then you should know that, you have to have like a very strong LinkedIn presence. I don't know if you understand me, right? So LinkedIn also work for freelancers, to be very honest. But if you are like more particular about the workplace, companies, and all of that, right? So you will want to show up more on LinkedIn. So it boils down to knowing the people that you want to speak to, the kind of people that you want to attract, and then finding the platform that best works for those people. Yeah, basically.
Thing. I mean, see me thinking Instagram would like the best and only option that marketers would have. Thank you so much for sharing that light. Thank you. I'm going to circle back. I know we want to take questions and answers. Please, if you have questions, you can start asking in the chat on the group rather. But I want for Lashade to answer the question I was trying to ask Blessing the other time. How do you think storytelling would influence a strong personal brand for marketers? Because there is this buzzword in marketing for content creators, especially say you have to have a strong storytelling skill. So what is storytelling, and how can we leverage it as marketers?
Okay. Thank you. So two things, right? The first thing would be to say that it's important because it shows. Okay, so there are two categories. There is the part of telling your own story, right? And using it like, especially because now we're talking about building a personal brand, and so I will focus on that part. So there is part of telling your own story and how it affects your brand, and then there is the part of knowing how to tell stories to sell whatever products. Do you understand that you're trying to sell, or to to build an audience for the companies you're working for? Those are two different things entirely. And I feel like the other one, if you can get brand, how to, I've forgotten the title of the book now. I'll go and check my library now, and once I get that, I'll let you know. So that one, this book I'm talking about, deals extensively about telling a product story or telling a story for a company and connecting with the customers. But for the purpose of this session, I'm just going to talk about how storytelling makes you relatable. Number one, relatability, especially with like building your personal brand. So for example, imagine that I am someone maybe who maybe I studied biochemistry, right, in uni, but because of the Nigerian situation and the fact that maybe I wasn't able to get a job, or I probably just studied biochemistry because I didn't get medicine, right? I said, okay, so I decided to transition into tech, maybe as a content creator, for example, or a content marketer. And then I shared that journey that, I maybe like in a reel or in a Twitter thread, that I used to be like, I studied I studied, what's the word now, biochemistry in OAU. However, I discovered that, do you understand, I rather like to share, and then I found content creation, and then someone shares that authenticity, because it shows that, it shows your journey, right? It shows that, you came from this to that. And then more importantly, relatability, because an average Nigerian that went to science class because they were brilliant can relate to that story. An average Nigerian, or an average person that studied biochemistry because they didn't get medicine, can relate to that, and now they are wondering what to do with their degree. So it helps you connect with people that you're hoping to talk to, or you're hoping to connect with. And then it helps you also, it also helps you be genuine and be authentic. And that thing Blessing said about lying is very is very like important, because the truth is that if you lie, the truth will catch up one day. But rather than lie, why not just be authentic and share that, okay. And the truth is that people connect a lot more with struggle stories in that sense, because an average person has things that they are struggling with. So when they see that, you two used to struggle with this, or but you have overcome it, they're like, this is someone I can learn from, or this is someone I can work with. And even attract the people you want to work with, seemingly attracts them to you, because by the time the people that are in the same shoes as you are can connect with you, they will share your story, and then you will get to talk to the people that you want to work with. So yeah, so that's what I would say, that it helps your authenticity, it helps you be relatable, then it helps you just not lie. Do you get it? Just helps you like tell the truth, and get people that will connect with you based on where you are at that moment.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for sharing that, Fola. Thank you so much. Authenticity, be original. I mean, like, if you're telling this, when it's not fiction, your life is not fiction. So there's no need to lie or to try to sweeten the whole thing. Just be original. Thank you so much. So it's time for questions. If you have any question, you can just like, actually want you to type it on the group, so you don't like so people don't talk together or at the same time. But since nobody is typing, maybe you want to talk. Let us hear your voice. So unmute your mic, and I'm going to try my best to regulate it and ask a question. So who would go first? I know you have a lot of questions. You always have questions. Is anybody asking? Ask your question. We have Fola, we have Omolola in the building. You probably not see this combination in, I don't want to say forever, but then
Okay, so good evening.
hi Adidolapo, good evening.
Okay, good evening. So, okay, I am Adidolapo, and yes, currently I'm studying microbiology, and I'm in my final year. And okay, during the strike, I was able to work on personal branding, especially on LinkedIn. But I'm this kind of person that, like, I'm into a lot of things. I design graphics. I'm into video editing. I into a lot of things like tech. But the issue is I really love digital marketing. But I don't know how to control myself and stay consistent with just one thing, and that's digital marketing. I don't know how to like stay consistently on that. So is there any advice you can give me? Thank you.
Right. Thank you for asking. Does Omolola want to answer that question?
Okay. Yeah, so one thing is people tend to like want to do everything when it comes to digital marketing, which is what I noticed that you said, right? So what I will say is digital marketing is very broad. It is very broad. There is SEO, there is content marketing, there is social media marketing, there is a lot, there is affiliate marketing, right? So what I will say now is, what out of all these things that you say you do, which one do you, which one comes best to you naturally, right? Which one will they wake you up and you know that anything, this one I will not say no to it. Which one do you think that you know better? Which one of these things do you think you know better? So that's why I always like tend to tell people to, when they say, oh, I'm taking a training in digital markets, I don't say, okay, it's good, but you still need to like find your strengths. You cannot, it's not possible to be an all-round digital marketer because you end up being confused. Digital marketing is very broad. So that's one thing I would tell you. Find your exact strengths. Okay, what aspect of digital marketing do I want to focus on? Personally, I focus on just social media marketing. I have like knowledge in every other aspect, but I'll tell you, I'm not an expert in every other thing, right? So if it's social media, yes, I know it when it comes to social media marketing. So that's what I'll tell you, to find your strengths. What exactly do you think you know how to do best out of all of these things, and then focus on that. Maybe later you can now say, okay, now that I've focused on these things, so is there any other thing I can now like add to it? But if it's like just like starting out, trying to find your footing, you need to make sure that you are focusing on something first and then perfect it, be very good at it. Then later on, you can now ask yourself, okay, do I want to add these things? So yeah, that's it. I hope this helps.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you
for
very much.
sharing. Yeah. Does Folashade want to add something to that?
No, I think Omala has like answered it. It's important to pick something, pick a part of it, and like build your expertise in that. But make sure it's something you genuinely like. I always tell people that when I wanted to like transition into tech, I saw that the guys, who knew how to code were earning a lot of money. But I knew that I hated mathematics or anything related to it, right? So I knew that I wasn't going to enjoy it if I chose it. So make sure it's something you genuinely like. If you like social media, choose social media. If yours is like you like writing long form, content writing might be for you. If you are interested in Google ads, do you want to you might want to consider, you know paid marketing. So just make sure like it's something you really enjoy, just like Lola said, and focus on building expertise there one at a time. And it doesn't mean that you can't do other things, but just put more of your energy, towards one that you really enjoy.
Yeah, thank you. I hope that helped you, Adidolapo. All right, there's a
Thank
question
you.
on the group. Someone asks, how do I identify my unique value proposition or personal brand message? Is there a hack to that? I think knowing you, Blessing says something about taking a personality test. Knowing who you are, what you gravitate towards, what interests you is the first key step to identifying your value proposition or the message that you want to pass across. I don't know if Fola or Mola want to add something to that.
So I would say that your story is unique. There is something Salem says, right? That you are your secret sauce. The fact that like your unique combination of experiences, your unique combination of skills, your unique combination of different things that you've experienced at every point in time, that is your secret sauce. For me, I would say that mine is the fact that, I used to be a doctor now. I'm in content marketing, right? So look for that thing that is unique to you. Yes, the skills are the same. Yes, the principles are pretty much the same. But the unique thing, the USP, is you, and how you can do social media marketing or content creation differently from any other person. So focus on that. And I think that personality test, of which I can relate so much to to that personality test mentioned, because it was a personality test that I took as well, that helped me realize that yes, I was good at veterinary medicine, but I could be better at media and creation. So try to look deep inside you. What can you do in a way that no one else can? Trust me, there is something that you have that no one else can. Then find a way to express it with your content creation journey.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. Okay, same person is asked, what are some common mistakes people make when trying to establish their personal brand? I think Blessing mentioned that. She mentioned shared 3 tips, and while she was talking, and one of those is like be authentic. You don't have to lie, be original, and be original. Don't lie, just be authentic. Um, yeah. So, does anyone want to ask? Like, unmute your mic to ask. We are going to be rounding up soon. Anybody? Before we ask our guest panelists to share their advice and final words to us. Okay. So, Omola should go first, please. Please share your final words, advice, or encouragement to the bootcamp participants as well. So, Emmanuel.
Yeah, that's me. Let's ask the question.
All right, go ahead.
So yes, I think for learning, yes. How did you start out? Was content marketing always your area of interest, or was it always what you were trying to do after pivoting career? How did you start out? How did you discover this is what I want to do? This is directly that how was it
Can
for
you
you?
speak up a bit? Sorry, Emmanuel. Sorry to interrupt, but I can't hear you clearly. I don't know if Fola can, but I can't hear you clearly.
No, I can't hear you at all. It's very low.
Okay, sorry. Okay, am I clearer now?
Yeah,
Better.
yeah.
Okay, so I was asking, how did you start out? Did you always know content marketing was something you wanted to do? How did you start out? How was the journey when you started? Was it, how was it for you? I mean, that's what I'm basically asking.
Okay, yeah. So I didn't know. In fact, I didn't even know that there was anything called content marketing. I just knew that I liked to write, and I kept writing, right? Even while I was in veterinary school, even like after I graduated, I was creating content on social media. So I would say I even stumbled on content marketing. Yes, I could write. Yes, I used to write for my friends, edit their bios, write content on Facebook then, but I didn't know that there was a way. I told you that initially I saw that people who could code, could work in tech. I didn't know that even if you didn't know how to code, there was room for you. So after I took a content creation course, from Salem. I was creating online. So some of my friends who knew that I like to write sent me job opportunity, okay, as a content marketing associate. In fact, that was the first time I was hearing about that. And that's what I would also like to say, that don't shy away. And that would be my final word of advice. Don't shy away from challenges. At that point, it was very challenging because I had no background apart from the fact that I used to write, and I had taken a creative writing course when I was in 500 level. I had taken a content creation course with Salem. That was pretty much all I had. And the temptation was to shy away and to say, this is it was a whole job. Do you understand? But learn to embrace challenges and grow. So what I did was, after I took the job, I took a course, content marketing certification with HubSpot. Immediately, like I got the job, I just went straight to sign up. And that's one thing you must always like want to learn, because even till now I'm still taking courses, right? I'm still trying to learn things. So the goal is not to position as something that you're not. The goal is to take on challenges that are bigger than you and immediately start learning. So did I always know? I knew that I like to write, I knew that I like to talk, I knew that I like to tell stories, but to be very honest, I was just like working and grooming that skill, not because I knew that there was something called content marketing. And that's the case of kairos moments, when opportunity meets preparation. I would say that that's really what happened. Emmanuel, I hope I answered your question.
Yes, you did. Thank you so much for your response. I'm really glad you answered well. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for last. So I'm going to ask Mala to share words, but there's a question that I'd like you to answer as you share your last words. Timitope asks, please, as a newbie in freelance digital marketing, for instance, a company reach out and needs an expert to run a Facebook campaign ads for them. How do I handle that as a newbie?
Okay. So I think Blessing already mentioned from beginning that you should not lie. Don't say you are something and you are not it, right? So do you know how to run ads? It's as simple as that. If you cannot do it, then just politely tell them you can't, or refer someone to them, right? So it doesn't mean that it's not every time that you have to like take on something because you feel like, oh, this thing, if I lose it, another one won't come. So if you know that, oh, I need to now learn how to run ads, then it's something that you can later, that you can start learning. But if currently you do not know how to, then there's not, I don't know, there's nothing to do. You can't lie and tell them you know how to do it when you don't know how to do it and you're just starting out, which circles back to, if so now my final words, which circles back to, if you are just starting out, take time to learn, take time to practice. Don't be under the pressure of, oh, I want everybody to see me as an expert just yet, because this is our field. It requires you to show your workings, right? So if anybody is reaching out to you, they need your services, they will ask for your portfolio. Oh, let me see the brands you've worked with. Oh, what have you been able to achieve, and the likes. So they want to see what you've done, right? So take your time to grow, take your time to evolve, right? Take your time to evolve, take your time to grow. Don't let anybody put you under pressure. And it is okay to like switch when something is not working. For example, I studied biochemistry in school, right? And when I was doing like my IT in 400 level, I knew that I don't want to do this, because I was in the laboratory doing practicals. I was not interested one bit, right? So when I graduated, I knew that I like social media generally. Okay, let me just try out a career in social media marketing, right? And that's how it has been, right? So even if you are still in school and you feel like, oh, this course is not working out for me, if it's that you want to switch, it's okay to like try out new things. It's okay to start from the scratch. Just make sure that you are constantly learning and you are constantly evolving. And like Blessing and Folashade has said, make sure that you are showing up too, right? Show up, show up and carry your audience along on your journey, right? So don't be under pressure. Carry your audience along. Share your journey. Share your wins. If you want to share your losses too, it's just you finding the balance of knowing what to share and what not to share. So yeah, basically that's it. Thank you.
And thank you so much. Thank you, Omola. So we have to come to the end of the session right now. Although there are questions on the group, for our guests are still on the group. If they can answer when they have a time to answer that question. So thank you all for joining. Thank you, Omolola. Thank you, Blessing. Blessing is not here again. Thank you, Fola, for making time for our participants. We are so grateful. Thank you everyone for joining. We wish you the best. Have a good evening. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And the recording will be available and I'll share it on the group as well. So take care of yourself. Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you for having
Thank you
me.
guys. Yeah, bye.
Yeah, bye bye.
Thank you.